which means we are joined by Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
You got it. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's start here. Well, did you I know you never really get any off time, but the Memorial Day was yesterday. Did you get to do anything at all, or have you just been running around? I know you're in Houston now, and it never stops. Did you get to do anything?
Yesterday was a rest and recovery day, man. When you get an opportunity to get a day off, and Houston is really not much to do. The weather
Mm-hmm.
wasn't great, a little humid, a little rainy, so it was a rest day. I got up, grabbed a little lunch, took a couple naps, did a little scouting, little work on the Astros, and then went to
Mm-hmm.
dinner, and then that was really it. So it was a quick one, but it was a good one. Well needed. Got a lot of rest, a lot of recovery, so feel refreshed now.
There you go. And I'm assuming that everybody in that locker room feels a bit more refreshed after breaking that 11-game losing streak against the Phillies last game of the homestand. How did it feel? And, Kyle was out running around. He said, oh, man, it's gotten to 11 when he came back when he came back from California or from Atlanta, and he said, oh man, it got all the way to 11. And, we were out here obviously covering it. I was out at the game on Friday. How did it feel to break that up and kind of start fresh as you get ready for a road trip?
It was good, man. I mean, it was a trip. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we thought we had it on Saturday, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's just kind of what happens in those little stretches right there. It's like you look for something to kind of change the momentum. We thought we had it, and then they came back and took it away. It's a good team, So it's good to
Yeah.
get that one on Sunday, get refreshed, get an off day, and now it's like starting over again. It's refreshing. It's coming in there and playing. Astros were, it's our division, so we're still trying
Mm-hmm.
to make statements. And during those 11 games, it's not like we played terrible. We were in a lot of those games. A lot of
Right.
those games we had the lead, and whether we didn't make a play, we didn't make a pitch, we didn't capitalize on scoring extra runs. All those small things add up to not winning ball games. So it's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, it's 11 in a row and it sucks, but if you think about it, you can go, three and 11 in a 14 game span, but no one's talking about losing those 11 games in 14 games. You're talking about 11 in a row. So,
Right.
but it's tough. It really was, and so our guys are happy to get that one off their backs and start moving forward now.
Talking to Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. Coach, in those moments, right, throughout the losing streak, I know you have some young players on the team, but there are a couple or a good amount of vets as well. Are there any players in particular as Sacramento starts to kind of learn who the leaders are and learn more about the Athletics as a whole? Are there any players in that clubhouse that the team leads on in those moments to kind of keep everybody up, and are those leaders in that way?
Yeah, I mean, different guys are stepping up. You know what I mean? Rooker's a big part of it. Langoliers is a big part of it. On the pitching staff, you got TJ McFarland. You got guys like that that have been around the game long enough to know that this is part of it
Yeah.
and just how you get yourselves out of it. So it's tough as a coaching staff to be able to stay motivated, but we got to stay positive. You know what I mean? And that's what it is we understand that you go through this, and they lean on us to be positive and be able to be pushing. They see us struggling with it, then it just makes the whole dynamic not very good.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's more, I think it's tougher on us to stay positive, which we are, because we understand that this team is always one game away from breaking it, and also one game away from starting something spectacular, because this team really hasn't even gotten hot yet. So,
Right.
but you're starting to see guys that we need to get hot and get hot. Rooker's starting to swing the bat really well. Butler had a big game against us on Saturday coming off the bench. So, those are things that are going to start turning the corner for us. And once we get hot, it's going to be pretty sweet.
Coach, Denzel Clark got pulled up. A couple moves got made towards the end of last week. Denzel Clark looks like he could be a gold glover in center field. That's the kind of scouting report on him, just trying to see if he can hit at this level. Had a good start out there in Vegas. What can we expect from Denzel Clark, and kind of what's the plan? I was reading that he's going to get a good amount of time in center field, but how do you kind of balance, okay, let's make sure he gets into a rhythm, or all right, if it doesn't go well offensively, is he ready or not? What's the kind of balance in the plan for Denzel Clark?
Well, he's bringing spectacular athleticism. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how much people watched the game this weekend, his first 2 games. He was basically catching balls in right field, catching balls in left field. I mean, even the home run, he was up against the wall. So,
Hmm.
I mean, he shows you what he can do. He can definitely go get it. He's a dynamic center fielder, definitely a gold glove caliber type player out there. It helps our defense, it helps our pitching staff. So, having him out there in center kind of eases a lot of the stress of balls in the gap, and having some guys that, Lawrence out there is really good in right, but covering
Hmm.
some ground for Sodi and being able to come in on some balls. So, when you build your team, you got to be strong up the middle, and you got to be strong defensively up the middle, talking catching, pitchers, shortstop, center fielders. So you bring a dynamic defender like that, it only makes your team that much better. As far as offensively, he's still got some things to work on, but you get him on the bases, he's another guy that can steal some bases. So small
Yeah.
ball is part of his game, being able to get some bunts down, be able to execute the small stuff that we need him to, and also working here. We're not afraid to bring some guys up to some, that still need to get better, and put
Hmm.
them in situations here where we can see him be hands on with them. So, I mean, if he starts to figure stuff out, I mean, this guy is special talent for sure.
And with that move of Denzel Clark, JJ Bleday was optioned to AAA, kind of struggled at the plate. And, you talk about the difference with Denzel Clark uh, defensively in center field. Is that a situation where JJ Bleday is going to come back up, or if he does come back up, it'll be for Denzel Clark? Or if JJ gets hot, could we see another move made? I think a lot of people were a bit surprised when it was JJ who got optioned. So just curious on what those paths could look like to him getting back to the big ball club.
Well, I think it was just a time for him to go down and reset. I mean,
Hmm.
he had a really good year last year. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself this year. JJ is a big, important part of our team still. You know what I mean? So for him to be able to go down, relax, and reset, find
Hmm.
his groove back, and if he's able to come when he's able to come back up here and join the team, I don't know what the dynamic is, but if you're able to put
Right.
a JJ Bleday in left or right field and still have Denzel Clark in center field, now it only improves your outfield, but we have so many options now, which is good. In years past, we never had this much depth to be able to do things like this. So, I
Hmm.
mean, as far as that goes, I'm not sure how we would work that out.
Yeah.
With that, with having Kurtz at first base, and Soderstrom out in left field. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what, he needs to go down, reset, get himself better, force his way back up here, and then we have to make the decision on what we want to do with him. So.
Nick Kur- Nick Kurtz has a multi home run game over the weekend. Does it feel like? I mean, it didn't take very long, and I'm gonna ask, does it feel like it clicked? I guess, did it ever not click with Nick Kurtz? Maybe the first week in the bigs. Does it feel like the game is already slowing down for the young rookie?
Actually, the last few games is when you can kind of see him finally settled in a little bit,
Hmm.
laying off some certain pitches, spitting on balls, getting off some really good swings. I think the first couple of weeks it was a little overwhelming for him. You know, what I mean, he was just
Hmm.
adjusting to the league. I mean, these guys are good. They can pitch the scouting report. They know your holes. So he had to find a way to lay off certain pitches, how they were trying
Hmm.
to pitch him and get him out. And what you saw like the last week is him starting to lay off certain pitches, get off better swings, making more solid contact, and all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, okay, here we go. Here's the next Nick Kurtz that we expected to see. It's going to take some time, especially him being young. We forget that we just drafted him last year, so
Yeah.
he's making adjustments in the big leagues, man. But he's already been an important part of our lineup, and when you see him go, it just makes our lineup that much better.
Jacob Wilson with the home run as well, and I saw uh, he gets hit by a pitch, and I think everybody was holding their breath. Uh, his swing, I think it kind of reminds me, or how he goes about his business reminds me of Hunter Pence in a way. The swing isn't the same, but just kind of the hitch that he has going on. His ability to start to hit the ball with some power now. I know we talked about the comparison to Dansby Swanson, and Dansby can get the ball out of the ballpark. Is that something
Right.
that you guys are hoping he develops more of? Or would you just say not at the expense of his ability to kind of put the ball in play, but would you take maybe a couple more swing and misses for some power? Or do you like how everything is evenly dispersed right now? Because obviously the batting average is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he picks and chooses when to go ahead and himself the swing to get off to
Hmm.
drive a baseball, right? And he's pretty smart about it. He'll look and sit certain pitches and be like, you know what, I'm going to take a swing. and try to let one eat right here. And then he can,
Right.
but the thing about him is if he fouls that pitches off or swings and misses, then he gets back into the count and he can shoot the ball the other way. So
Hmm.
that's how special he is, man. I mean, he can do multiple things in the at bat. He'll survey the defense. Here's the hole. Here's how they're pitching me. Let me shoot this. Here's the situation. I might need to drive a ball here, get a sac fly or get a ground ball. And that's special, man. I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard to find those kind of guys that can do different things with the bat, right? And it's like every time a third baseman comes in the league, around the league, and after like 2 or 3 games of watching Jacob Wilson, they're like, man, he's like, that guy's pretty good. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's special. So he can do many things. I mean, as far as the home runs come, I think he's just going to pick and choose. I can see him hitting, at the end of the year, you'll look up and wouldn't be surprised seeing him have maybe 15 home runs. It just depends.
Hmm.
Right? But he's definitely not going to sacrifice it for his average and the ability to be able to put the ball in play and shoot it everywhere else. So
Yeah.
he just picks and chooses his times and he goes for there. So, but I'd love the average with about 15 homers. I think that's a pretty good year and a few more walks.
Yeah, yeah, he's been doing it more lately just because it was impossible not to
Right.
do it more lately when he wasn't walking at all. Coach Eric Martins, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck in Houston. You can find some barbecue or something somewhere out there in Houston, and we'll talk to you again next week.
It sounds good, Alan. Appreciate it.
That was Coach Eric Martins, third base coach for the Athletics. They lost 11 straight.